Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Emily here, and today I'm going to be talking about Hecate, the deity, the goddess, the dark mother. Okay, we're going to be doing a little series on this channel all about deities and gods and goddesses that we witchcraft, can't talk, that we Wiccans and people who witchcraft and spiritual path people use as deities. Okay, so if you're new here, my name is Emily. I produce videos on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays at 3 o'clock, all about spirituality, witchcraft, tarot readings, okay, all that good juju, all those good vibes. So if you're interested in that kind of content, then you're going to absolutely love it here, so please consider subscribing. And yes, without further ado, I'm going to shut my mouth. Well, technically I'm not going to shut my mouth because I'm going to keep talking, but I'm going to start talking about some interesting content about Hecate. So, first off, who the hell is Hecate? I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have clicked on this video if you didn't know who she is, but Hecate is, like I mentioned, the dark mother, okay? She is the goddess of magic and witchcraft. Hecate to me is a goddess that's always kind of been in my craft, okay? The people around me when I first started to learn were always talking about Hecate. That was the goddess that they worshipped, okay? So to me, she's always been around, but to other people, okay, she might not necessarily be the god or goddess that they choose, but she is a deity for, if you're interested in witchcraft in particular, a deity to work with, because like I mentioned, she's the god and goddess of witchcraft and magic, okay? So she's really good if you're trying to bring that aspect into your life, really develop your craft in particular. She's also known as the goddess of prosperity. So again, this is where witchcraft kind of comes into it. When we're doing witchcraft, we want all of our spells to prosper, they're just as is. But she is a Greek goddess who has basically been there, done that, and got the t-shirt for it. Like, she has got her hands in every single bit of pie. So as always, I'm going to leave some articles down below about Hecate if you want to do your own research, okay, things that I use and reference sources that you use. But today we're going to be talking mainly about why we would talk and work with Hecate and what things that we can offer Hecate in particular, those offerings and things that we could use within our daily practice to put on our altar to really honour her. So first things first, what would we, or how would we, why would we contact Hecate or work with Hecate, okay? Hecate is the goddess of life, death, witchcraft, regeneration. She's also extremely wise, and like I mentioned, prosperous, so she'd be really well if we wanted to bring some victory, some success into our life. Obviously we've got that battlefield element there as well. She is just an all-round G, okay? That's the easiest way for me to explain it. I really do appreciate Hecate. Like I mentioned, I work with her a lot. It's someone that I really appreciate and a goddess that I really appreciate, and because she, like I said, she's an all-round good person. If you're very, very new to witchcraft, she's a good goddess to go for because she's an all-rounder. Particularly, she's got that mother of the stars, but she's also got that dark element of her father. So I've written a few lists here, just of the things that, in particular, why you would call into Hecate, just so that I don't lose track here, okay? So the first reason that I would work with Hecate in a particular spell or anything like that is because she is the goddess of justice, okay? So if you're trying to get justice for something around you, if you're trying to kind of bring some calmer background, okay, or calmer background on someone, she's really, especially if you are in particular working to get karma put on someone who has wronged you, okay, she's really good with justice. So therefore she's a perfect goddess to kind of call in for that. And I think that a lot of the times most of our spells come from either some sort of misjustice to ourselves or misdoing to ourselves, or because we're wanting to be prosperous. And like I said, she can bring that in. She's got that victory element as well, which is why I would personally work with her. Hecate is also really, really good to work with if you are doing spells in particular, okay, but more like herbal spells. You've got the apothecary side of it, okay. She was really introduced in medicine back in the day when she was around, okay. Medicine was aka witchcraft, that's the spells. So if you are doing spell bags to treat someone, or if you're doing spells for health, or like I mentioned, you've got that what's the word I'm looking for? What is the arthropod? What's the word I'm looking for? When it's like alternative medicine, that's what I'm thinking. Like if you are into alternative medicine and ways, calling in Hecate when you are putting your herbs together, making your herbal remedies, okay, is really helpful. It helps bring that energy and bring that fire and that productiveness back into your spell and also your herbal remedy. Finally, the other reason that I personally would use Hecate, one of the main reasons you would call her in, so apart from kind of when you're doing spells for justice and karma, we're doing spells for health and medicine, the other ways that I would pull Hecate in is when I'm trying to connect with the other side, okay. I'm trying to connect with ghosts for divination purposes, in particular Samhain. When I pulled my goddess in for Samhain, I chose Hecate. person because she has the keys, she has that skeleton key to different realms that she can really help transition you through and keep you protected during that time as well, but also make the veil and the connection a lot easier for you. But if we're going to worship Hecate, we've got our reasons why we would why we would come to Hecate and what Hecate is really good for. Like, so if you look into Hecate in particular in Greek mythology, you will see all the stories where she helped Persephone into the underworld. Okay, she's got quite a positive relationship with Hades and stuff. There's a lot of her. She's a very, very strong character within Greek mythology, and she manifests herself in so many different forms. Okay, so when we are creating an altar to her, we've got quite a lot of variation on what we can do and what we can create our altar to be like, okay, and what offerings that we can give her. So when we're creating an altar, I've written down the things that I've got on my altar here, things that I would personally put on my Hecate altar. I would mention, if you ever do a deity altar, to either make the deity altar slightly separate or a certain section of your altar so that they've got their own dedicated space. Okay, when you work with Hecate, like I say, she is the all mother, she is the dark mother, she's extremely powerful, so she does happen to and ask for the respect that deserves. So personally, to me, I would make the altar a separate space. I wouldn't connect it to my other altar. I would make dedication to the dark mother in herself, to give her that space and time and really put my effort in when you are working with her. And like I said, I think she's an amazing deity and goddess to work with when you are starting out, because like I say, she is the bringer and the all-rounder, and she is the mother and the goddess of witchcraft. So when you are trying to develop, my cat is like all up here listening to me, like staring when I'm talking about this. I'm pretty sure Hecate is in my cat. Anyway, I know that sounds silly, but what was I saying? But yeah, when you are working with her, she's really good to help bring you through and help develop your craft, especially if you're looking at spells and things, because she's got that emblem there and she's got all that knowledge, all that power, and the energy that comes off of her is absolutely amazing. Like I mentioned, we're going to create a separate altar for her, and what we're going to put on that altar, what does she like? So I've made a few lists here, or I've made a list here of a few items. So we've obviously got a key, ideally an old key if you can, because obviously she's got that skeleton key to the different realms. This is one of her symbols. We've also got the torch, okay? Also got a knife. I would also put a bosom on there or a broom on there. I've got like a little small broom on mine as well. Just these small little elements that really pull into her. I do personally have a statue of her as well. These are quite easy to find online. I can put one on Amazon, but you don't need to have one. You could just have her symbol, okay? You could have her symbol. You could have the 3 moons. So you've got the maiden, mother and crone that comes with the Hecate symbol as well. That is where I would personally start off. I would start off with a symbol or a statue and just a few pieces that represents her. If you've got a key, like I mentioned, pop a key on there. You've got your thame or a knife. You've got a bosom or a broom that you can put on, like a little small broom. And then we can start moving on to offerings and things. So when I start to put offerings on there, and this is something that I'm just going to go through how I've written it down, okay? These offerings can be a separate section. This could just be how you want to work with her, but obviously have that dedicated space for her. Even if it's just a dedicated candle, you just need a dedicated space for her, because like I say, she's pulling in all that energy. But the offerings that I would put through to her, pomegranate seeds. Obviously that's the whole Persephone story, but pomegranate, can't speak. Pomegranate seeds are a good one. Lavender, she absolutely loves garlic, okay, absolutely loves garlic. So fresh garlic. If one of the things that I like to do, one of the rituals, see, like I'm going on a tangent here, just come with me, okay, write down as I speak. One of the rituals I love to do with her is to cook dinner, have a dinner with her. So it's a little bit like what you do at Samhain when you have the space for other people, but I will cook a meal, so I will have a space at my table for her. I will cook a 3-course meal, and I will have like garlic bread, because one of the other things is bread, okay? I will have a nice garlicky main course, and then I will have such a fruitful, like I say, like a pomegranate fruit salad for dinner, something fresh, fruity, something sweet, a little bit drizzled honey, because honey's another offering that you can put out of her. Like I said, we've got bread, we've got eggs. And one of the things, like I said, I love to do, I pop these as offerings to her, but I will also go out of my way and create dinner and have that time with her to really sit in meditation with her as such while we are having a private dinner. Another way to do this is to leave, and one of the rituals that you can do for her is to leave these meals outside your front door, okay? One of the it's definitely more of an old tradition to worship Hecate, is that you would leave food for wandering spirits. So she'd give you protection if you left these foods on the outside, and you left these plates for wandering spirits. I feel like Hecate comes with a lot of traditions of Samhain, because where she's got that veil between worlds, and she's that gatekeeper, for instance. A lot of the things and a lot of the rituals that we do for Hecate and to worship Hecate also show up in Samhain, because it's just that time of the year when the veil's finished. Also at Beltane, when the veil's thinnest, can't talk, we tend to do a lot of these things. But if you are trying to work with Hecate and really connect with everything, you have to delve deep into that world. And I think, like I say, we spend a lot of time doing some of the similar rituals. So when you do rituals, moving on to the next point, okay, obviously you're most likely going to do them in your home. But if you don't, if you can, if you live near a crossroads, do your rituals at a woods or an off-grid at the crossroads. But if you don't, like myself, one of the things that I do like to do every now and then, okay, because she's the goddess of the crossroads, she's the gatekeeper between realms. I keep saying this. Apologies if I'm just rambling. I'm just trying to give you some ideas. I have kind of half jotted them out. I'm trying to give you some ideas and go for this. Is to create a crossroads in your garden, okay, or in your own personal space. This could be indoor, your home. This could be out in your garden. Ideally, be out in nature, but you can go out and collect some sticks and twigs, and create a physical crossroads in the center of your space, and then you've got your own area and your own crossroads to do your rituals on within the comfort of your own home, okay? So one of the notes and the things that I've missed out here that I wrote down was, if you are going to offer an offering to her, especially if you're leaving that plate of food outside, or if you're going to give the offering at crossroads, please include the plate, okay? Don't expect and go back and collect that plate, okay? You are physically giving the plate as part of the offering. So you might want to go out and just purchase. I tend to go to charity shop and purchase something and cleanse it and specifically dedicate it for that purpose, but you're physically giving absolutely everything that you have to. So some ways that you can work with her, okay? The first thing is to obviously when you're calling her in, call her in as your goddess, dedicating an altar to her, okay? One of the biggest things and ways that you can really work with her is to offer yourself and offer your services in canine love, or in some sort of way. So whether or not that's you helping to give some dog walking, if you go and volunteer at a dog shelter, if you've got your own dog, just make sure you pamper it, okay? Because that is her familiar, that's who's around her, that's her something she really appreciates you doing, is giving that time and giving something back to the canine world, to her animal. So being able to show that love, okay? If you've got your own dog, take it out, spoil it, okay? Spend that time, take your dog to the rituals that you do with her as well. Just having that connection. Personally, I don't have a dog, I have a cat. So I go out and I will go and see my parents' dogs, and I'll be like, right, I'll take them out for a walk, or I'll just take them to go and get like washed and cleaned, so that the dog is happy and is pampered, okay? And there's some more things that you can do for her to really bring her through. Like I say, you've obviously got the options of the offerings as well, various different offerings, cake. So the full list of offerings I've got here is pomegranate, lavender, garlic, dates, eggs, honey, bread, sweets, and croissants. Croissants in particular are a very, very good one, because croissants are, not only are they a sweet bread as well, but they're also in the shape of a crescent moon, which you're just ticking all the boxes there. I've got a note here to say 13, okay? So when you're working with Hecate, or you're wanting to do something, if I do 13 things with it, okay? So like for instance, if you're working with dogs, try and do it 13 times. 13 is her number. Give her 13 flowers, okay? Say your prayer to her 13 times. The last way you can really honor her is to dedicate your work to her with any deity, or dedicating certain times, certain aspects of your craft to them. So whether or not you're creating spells for people or creating herbal remedies, in particular I would say herbs and plants, and your development into herbs and plants would be where I would definitely call and work with her, and give her something back, okay? Make your own little potion concoctions. Maybe if you're doing like some apothecary, and you've got an apothecary shop, okay, and you're making these spells for other people, on your label, on your tab, you're dedicating it to Hecate, to say that, do you know what, this is a product, this is my company, I make this because of her, and it's something you can give back to her, okay? Even if you're just creating certain smells, certain perfumes, okay, with herbs, and really working with them, especially if you've got a garden or you're growing your own herbs as well, that's another real good way to really dedicate some time to Hecate, giving back to the plant life, giving back to the herb life, offering your services and your healing to someone for free. If you're physically healing people and offering that medicine side, okay, with her behind it, she's there to support you, because that's what she loves and she does. So I've not got anything else written on my list. I'm sure there's a load of things I've missed off the top of my head, but I really wanted to get this video out because to me, I really want to start talking about deities on this channel, because they're a huge thing I've found on social media where people have got lots of questions to ask more than anything else, and I want to help you where I can. And obviously I chose Hecate as my first one because like she's my G, she's my homegirl. But I also, funnily enough, when I've wrote it down, obviously then the whole Sabrina last season came out, and if you're into witchcraft, you might have seen the Sabrina seasons on Netflix, and obviously they started going over to the Dark Mother, and they started to pull in Hecate, and I was like, oh my god, this is like the perfect time. This is why she was the first one for me to talk about, because obviously she's been coming to the forefront a lot more recently. So If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. And I really want to get this message out to as many people as possible, and I would love to grow my channel to 1,000 subscribers. That is my goal for this year, so that would be absolutely amazing if I could do that, okay? And if you have any questions about anything I've said, anything I've rambled on about, like you see, when I'm quite passionate, I just ramble, my brain just goes to mush and I start talking, so I do apologise for that, but I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below or contact me on social media. I am on TikTok and Instagram under TheLifeofEm. And that is it for this week's video. I will see you next week, guys, for another video, alright? Stay safe, bye!